Hello and welcome to today's yoga class. Today in our yin class, we're going to begin in extended child's pose. So go ahead, get your knees the width of the yoga mat and spread your hands nice and far.
Deeply breathing in your child's pose, connecting with maybe an intention. And your intention can simply be as simple as to do yoga. It can be to bring peace, to bring stillness. Maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and just doing this practice can be a release of that self-judgment, self-criticism, ahimsa type attitude. Inhale, coming back into tabletop. We're going to take a downward dog just for a little, walking it out. Bring your right heel up to the sky, three-legged dog. Reach it nice and high. Really feel the opening in the left leg. Exhale, bringing the right knee up, in between the hands. Bring the left knee down. You might need to walk the right foot just a little bit out. And we're going to make our way into our half splits. So you might need to adjust. Typically I like to have more of a 90-degree angle in my back leg. And reaching the front toes up. Inhale, nice long back, and as you exhale, slowly bend towards the knee. For myself, I'm not going very far, just to where I feel the stretch, that sensation, and then I'm stopping there. Because standing splits can be, or half splits can be very intensive as well. Especially if you like to walk a lot, or run, or you're standing a lot and have tight hips, tight hamstrings. Feeling the whole bottom part of the leg from the calves to the hamstrings release just a bit. Breathe into this pose. We're going to stay here for a few minutes. Maybe you can soften a little bit more into the pose. If the palms of your hand are hurting at all, you can always take a different position with your hands. Make a fist. Use blocks. Another focus being trying to get the right hip just a little bit further back. It's going to increase the stretch. Aligning your hips. Five more cycles of breath. On your next inhale, slowly come forward into that low lunge. Let the left hand plant into the earth. Maybe bring the left knee a little bit up. Just coming into a little twist. Bringing the right hand up. Opening the chest. Pulling the arms apart from each other. If you need a little bit of extra, feel free to lift the back knee. And just breathe here. your gaze can be up to the sky. If your neck is sore, your gaze can be down to the floor. Exhale. Bring both hands down, step the right leg back. You can choose to take a slow flow, or simply just go to downward facing dog. If you want to take a little flow, be gentle and slow with your movements. Inhale for cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, slowly peel yourself back into tabletop and transition into your downward dog, being as graceful as a dancer. Maybe walking it out just a little bit. And breathe here. Everyone's doing an awesome job. Let's inhale, bring the left heel up to the sky, three-legged dog. Really push that leg up. Nice big full cycle of breath. And on your exhale, step your left knee, your left foot between the hands. Drop your right knee. Low lunge. You can find a little bit of movement rocking back and forth. You know what pose we're getting ready for our half splits. Do what feels good right now to get yourself ready. Slowly walking your hands just a little bit back. You can take your right foot and keep it tucked or untucked depending on your knee. You might need to pad your knee a little bit more, and that's fine too. And slowly start to straighten the left leg, nice and long. You don't need to lock it. You can always take a little micro bend. So caring about the health of your knee. Take whatever position you want. Maybe bringing that knee a little bit, that heel a little bit forward, whatever feels good. And when you're ready, slowly sink and fold forward. Forehead towards the knee. Maybe it touches, maybe it's a long ways away, and that's okay. Think about the left hip and pulling it back towards the right so your hips are aligned. Deepening that stretch, really feeling that opening in the hamstrings. Release tension in your neck. So many poses we can work on softening anywhere we feel tension, like our shoulders, our neck, muscles that we wouldn't even think were tensing, like our eyes, our nose, our jaw. Just relaxing these muscles. As you breathe in that calmness, that sense of ease, and as you exhale, release, soften what no longer serves you. Just bring yourself into this moment. Almost there. Take 5 more cycles of breath on your own time. When you finish taking your 5 cycles, inhale, come into that low lunge. Gazes forward. Tuck the right toes. Bring the right palm to the earth. Coming into a twist to the left side. So melt your heart open. Lift your left hand up to the sky. Breathe deep here. Option to lift the right knee. Option to bring the gaze to the floor. Exhale, release both hands down, coming into a plank position. Option to meet in down dog, or take one last flow of the day. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, coming into down dog, nice and gently. For our next pose, you don't need any props, but if you're looking around and you have a pillow, a bolster, a cushion, a block, you can bring something close. We're going to do a little bit of a heart opener counter pose next. Exhale, release the knees down, tabletop position, crossing your legs, coming to the top of your mat. So in this next pose, any prop like a pillow or a seat a little cushion will help, but you don't need it. We're going to take our bound angle, Baddha Konasana legs, maybe take a minute for some self-love, giving yourself a little massage on the soles of the feet or the ankles. I never skip this step because for me it feels good. You can always take props under your knees if your hips are really tight and feeling uncomfortable opening like this. And you're going to place your props. Again, you can just simply slowly lie down, tucking the shoulders towards each other, or take a little prop and lie back down on that, nice and gently. Whatever you have, we can make it work. And for your head, take a pillow or a block if you are using props, just to have some expansion in the chest, feeling the chest opening up as the shoulders melt down to either side, making sure you don't spill your tea or water if you have it. So open your hands, receiving energy or receiving love from the universe, or just melting open. So again, in this Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound angle, we're just taking a moment to counter the folds we've been working on and opening up. Spending a few minutes here. Halfway there, just keep breathing.
Maybe notice anything feels different. Maybe tingling in the fingertips, the arms, maybe deep sensations in the hips, the thighs. Whatever it is, as long as you're not in any pain, sink into this posture even deeper, finding complete stillness and complete peace in this moment. Maybe even taking a slight yogic smile, lifting the corners of the mouth. Taking 3 cycles of breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. On your next inhale, slowly start bringing yourself back up. Maybe grab underneath the thighs, pushing yourself all the way up with love and kindness, bringing the knees together. Just give yourself a little hug here. Often when we're feeling dis-ease in our body, upset stomach or not so good, or seasick or travel sick, just bringing your forehead into your knees. Such a grounding and delightful pose that is pretty instinctual for human beings to come into when we need to go inwards. Just an act of self-love for yourself, and that you're human like everyone else, experiencing pain, joy, happiness, sorrow. Let's inhale, slowly come up to a nice straight back, preparing for our last pose, or second last pose depending. We're going to be taking our legs to wall pose. So the awesome thing about not being in a studio is we have tons of space. So look around, see if you have a wall. Now if you don't have a wall accessible, you can always take variations by lying supine on your back and hugging in your knees to your chest and just hanging out in a variation of a restorative pose, including Shavasana. So think about what your body might need. This pose is really awesome for helping relieve any stress or tension. So if you haven't gotten into this pose, it's kind of weird at first, but you're going to snug your left hip or right hip close to the wall, whichever is closest to you, as close as you can make it. That's going to make it nice and easy. And because it's just you, don't worry about what other people are thinking or looking at, and just come down. And as you come down to your right side or left side, just snug your sit bones towards the wall and then slowly hike the legs up. And this should make it so that your hips are pretty close. If they're a little bit away, a couple inches is fine. If you're more than a foot, you might want to take 2 until you can feel your legs grounded in that Dandasana posture, staff pose. And opening up your hands
however you feel comfortable, whether it's cactus arms or arms nice and long. And another nice variation is just coming inwards, one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, and just start to breathe and focus on sensations. Again, if you're not in this pose, you might be in Shavasana. This is our restorative pose to end today's class. Often I like to stay here around 10 minutes, but that's optional, whether you have the time or not. But for today's class, we're just going to take a couple minutes here. Again, check the lower back is supported by the earth. The shoulders can be slightly tucked in or neutral. Eyebrows relaxed. You might begin to feel tingling or a sensation in the feet. But this pose is really about giving back to yourself, giving back to your heart. Is a bit of an inversion. We just bring that life force, the breath, the blood in our bodies back to the vital organs. Very good for calming the nervous system. Halfway there, just continue to breathe. Focusing on your inhale and your exhale in this pose. And start to bring your breath back to the attention of your body, your awareness. Maybe wiggling your toes and fingertips. Again, stay in this pose if you have the time. It's awesome. You can stay here for 10-20 minutes. Wiggling those toes, bring the circulation back. Slowly come into bound angle on the wall if that's comfortable. Just because coming out of this pose too fast you might feel your feet, that sensation of your feet being asleep, and you might not want that. And on your own time, gently come to one side, into that fetal position on your left or right side. Again, just close your eyes and just give yourself appreciation, gratitude for taking an hour out of your day to focus on bringing mindfulness. So important. And not selfish at all, but rather the opposite. And being able to ground yourself so that when you're in the presence of others or pets, you can be as loving as possible. Let's slowly come back up and make your way however you want into Sukhasana, easy pose, or whatever seat you want. Otherwise, you're still in legs on the wall pose. as we are at the end of today's class. Thank you so much for joining me. You can flutter your eyelids open, bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for joining me in today's practice, taking that hour, so important, and I applaud all of you for coming to join me today, and thank you so much. Namaste. Peace be with each and every one of you with the rest of your days. Thanks, and I hope to see you again soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat or unmute yourself. It's great to see the regulars coming back. That's awesome. It was lovely to teach you, and next week I won't be here, but there will still be class. There will be a sub, so that will be next week. And I also teach Vinyasa on Wednesday morning, so a bit quicker and more energetic of a flow. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you had a wonderful class. Thank you all. So glad you could join me today from wherever in the US you are, so thank you.
Colin, I have a question.
Yes, Rebecca.
So if we're going to do, make a sequence for like a Vin Yin class, should the Yin come first?
Typically they say that Yin classes are best if you start cold, not warmed up.
Right.
So yeah, definitely doing some of those like shoulder rolls, that kind of stuff is okay, little movements, but any gross movements, I would say start with the Yin, and then as you go along, I personally like to add a little bit of Vinyasa, a little bit more movement just to keep engaged. But yeah, definitely I would say some of the deeper stretches, but you'll see so many instructors making it their own. So there's no rule, but typically they do say to start off less warmed up.
Right, because everywhere I see it's the Yin, the Vin first and then Yin, so it's a Vin Yin combination, and I'm just like, that goes against everything we've been taught.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah, that's what I feel too, especially doing the trainings and seeing YouTubers definitely doing whatever they want. But I think if you want to stick to what they say, starting not warmed up is the best way to go. Thanks for asking that, Rebecca.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for another great class.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.